last and of least, I want to introduce the keynote speaker for today's ceremonies, a man who didn't just talk about free speech, he fought for it, he went to jail for it, his comrades died for it, and we're here to honor him and have him honor us. The co-founder of the Black Panther Party, Mr. Bobby Seale.
As we used to say in the 1960s, right on time. I've been sitting here watching you guys, all these teams and all this expression, this great human poetic expression. And it really makes me feel good. You know, I still lecture at a lot of colleges, what have you, etc. But this particular group of this humanity here really gets off with me. I mean, gets off of me in the positive sense of where we are possibly headed in terms of evolving a real, true people's human liberation framework between now and into the future. This is what I'm looking for. I was just a young engineer working on the Gemini missile program in early 60s, in the early 60s, and I became interested in my African-American people's history. Believe it or not, I already knew, before I knew my African-American people's history, I already knew. You see the Lakota brothers that came up here a moment ago? I knew their history. I knew about the whole Lakota nation, all the 8 ethnic groups that make them up, etc., because I had identified with them as a young man. But there I was, doing electromagnetic field black light non-destruct testing on all engine frames with the Gemini missile program. There I was doing this in my little engineering department, craft, my high-tech world that I loved. And I read a book by Jomo Kenyatta, Facing Mount Kenya, and found out about a young black man who went to England and got a degree, came to America and got another degree, went back and became involved and significant in organizing his people out from under the yoke of English colonialism over the country and over the people. That blew my mind because I learned something. All the brainwashing I'd gotten in movies, I realized that Tarzan did not run Africa. I mean, the caricatures that was blown in my head, alongside all the math I knew, all the engineering design stuff I knew, I had no understanding of my African-American people's history. And when I got a hold of that, the world began to change. I began to look. I looked up and saw Nelson Mandela on trial. I looked up and went downtown to hear Dr. Martin Luther King speak in 1962. At the Oakland Auditorium, 7,000 people in the auditorium. And he got up there, and normally I didn't go hear preachers anymore. You know, I got tired of preachers. But I want to hear this preacher. And he got to talking about the things we had to do to change things, to end institutionalized racism, to end racist discrimination in this country, economically and otherwise. And he got on the various companies and said, we're going to boycott such and such a company and boycott this companies. Then he got on the bread companies. We're going to boycott Langendorf Bread Company, and we're going to boycott Kilpatrick's Bread Company. Those are 2 local bread companies. And we're going to boycott Wonder Bread Company. We're going to boycott them so consistently and so profoundly, we want to make Wonder Bread wonder where the money went, Martin Luther King said. Talking about being a young person and getting inspired. I mean, I'm still an engineer. I'm going to work at night, but I'm at Merritt College. And I meet these guys in the Afro-American Association. And I don't know what no Afro-American Association is about. So I asked one guy I hadn't seen for 10 years. I said, you're supposed to be a socialist. What's this, some kind of communist stuff? He says, no, Bobby. Afro-American. I said, I never heard the term Afro-American. What do you mean? He says, who are the Sioux? I said, their name is not the Sioux, their name is the Lakota. The word Sioux is a French word, it means cutthroat, and it ain't got nothing to do with the real true culture. I knew that. And he says, yes, Bobby, I remember my brother, and you told me that. What we're talking about here is we have a descendancy. We are a people. We are humanity. We are not derogatory. We're not niggers. We're not Negroes. We're not none of that stuff. That's what he was. So I says, oh, so Afro? I says, yes. And I says, wow, I got a hold of it. A year later, I was in an anthropology class, and I'm trying to get this instructor to start using correct social science reference to us. And every time she gets to black folks, she says Negroid. And then I says, well, why you keep using that term? I don't like that term. That term is next door to nigger and that. And so even some of the other black students in the class who weren't conscious, Bobby Seale, you always interrupt this class, man. This is an anthropology class, and I'm trying to get my degree. I wish you'd stop this Afro-black talk, blah, 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 blah. And so I argued, no, we got to find correct social science reference to us black folks. So I got Richard Aoki, my Japanese friend on campus. I got Bertram Morrell, my other brother on campus. And then I said, is Huey around here? Get Huey. We got Huey in there. In the next class, and Huey jumps up in the back room, and I'm going to mimic Huey for you. I'd like to say that correct social science reference to black folks in America, I would like to suggest for an anthropological terminology, Africanoid as opposed to Negroid. And I said, that's it. And I jumped up out of the seat, and the instructor said, sit down, Mr. Seale, sit down. She wrote the terminology on the board, Africanoid, boom, 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 underlined the syllables. I said, oh, she says, well, okay, I can go with this. Now, I said, well, wait a minute, I told the instructor. She said, what's wrong? I said, you got to equalize the terminology. She said, what do you mean? I said, well, okay, Africanoid is better correct social science reference to us as black folks. And then, of course, Asian peoples and people of Asian descent, you say Mongoloid. And then, of course, when you get to the white folks from Europe, you say Caucasian this. In other words, I say if you keep using those terms that way, notice something. All the people of color over here, Mongoloid and Africanoid, we the Noids. And y'all the Caucasians. So what are you getting at? I said, from now on, let's equalize the terminology. Africanoid, Mongoloid, and Caucasoid. So point was, that day in the classroom, I won a hard argument. My point is, this is my early development right around the free speech movement at this time. And what caused, ultimately, me and Huey talked a lot about we need to start another organization after Malcolm X's death. I created the Black History Flag Group and got Black History in the curriculum at Merritt College. I shifted that group and changed that name to Southern Student Advisory Council. And then I got on the anti-war movement. In other words, too many of us, we looked up. 29% of African Americans, plus Chicano, plus other ethnic and people of color, were dying on the front lines of Vietnam. And this country was not recognizing our constitutional democratic civil human rights. This country was not doing that at that time at all. So I said, I could create a big rally at Merritt College. By this time, Huey, he's in law school in San Francisco. But I left a message for him to come by, and he suddenly heard me recite this poem. Uncle Sammy called me full of Lucifer, and it brought the house down. 700 students in there, packed in there, and they signed up for the Soul Students Advisory Council, 250 strong. So Huey was shocked. You organized all these people? I said, yeah, man, I keep telling you we got to get a new organization going since they killed Malcolm X. And so Huey was really enthusiastic. A week later, we're down the street here. This street right here, Telegraph, way down by Hastings near Dwight Way. It's hordes of brothers and people walking up and down the streets on both sides of the streets, nightlife throughout Telegraph. Huey wants me to recite Uncle Sammy Called Me Full of Lucifer. I don't want to recite Uncle Sammy. I said, Huey, there's too many people up here at night like this, man. I'm going to recite. No, you got to do that. And he's trying to tell one of my other student friends and tell my brother John Seale, man, you got to hear Bobby, man, blah, 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 blah. I said, okay, man. I'm telling you this because this leads to the real founding of the Black Panther Party. So I stood out there right by the parking meter. Hordes of people walking by. And it's a poem by a young brother, this is a poem by a young brother named Ronald Stone. I picked it up out of the Liberator magazine, one of my 30-some-odd different periodicals I subscribed to by that time. Liberator magazine was published out of New York at the time. So to recite the first lines of the poem really had no title. I call it Uncle Sammy poem because the first lines read that way. And just as I opened my mouth, Uncle Sammy called me full of Lucifer. Well, I don't give a good eagle-eyed, and suddenly a big, tall, bushy-headed white guy got up from one of the tables and waded through a crowd with a chair and a big, giant marijuana cigarette in one hand and a chair in another hand. He said, hey, man, I was sitting there, man, and the people got in my way, and I'm getting the vibes. I said, okay, man, I'll stand on the damn chair. I get on the chair, it's a nice crowd, 25, 30 people blocking the sidewalk now. I noticed the Berkeley police car turning in the corner there. And as it's turning the corner, I started the poem off again. It's an anti-war poem by a young black man. Uncle Sammy called me full of Lucifer. Well, I don't give a good eagle-eyed, make people triple whammy damn for I feel it's supposed to, but not served. Uncle Sammy, don't shuck and jive me. I'm hip to popcorn jazz changes you blow. You know damn well what I mean. You schooled my naive heart to sing red, white, and blue stars and striped songs and to pledge eternal allegiance to all things blue, true, blue-eyed, blonde hair, white chalk, white skin with USA tattooed over. When my soul trusted Uncle Sammy and loved Uncle Sammy. As a kid, I died in dreams playing war for you, Uncle Sammy. You jammed your emasculate manhood symbol puffed with gonorrhea. Gonorrhea of corrupt, unrealty myths into my ungreased nigga ghetto black ass and my Jewish Catholic Hindu Islamic Sioux. What? Sure, free public health penicillin cured me. But Uncle Sammy, fuck your motherfucking self. I am not sorry. The next thing I know, some young guy, yellow t-shirt with a crew cut. He's wearing a yellow t-shirt and jeans. He grabs my arm. I'm getting off the chair. He was saying, see, I told you. And he grabs me and says, you're under arrest. I said, man, get your damn hands off me. I didn't know who he was. Looked like a civilian to me. You're under arrest for using obscene language. I said, hey, man, fuck you. We won. I said, we won the free speech rights to say the four-letter word, fuck if we want to. So get your hands off me and fuck you. I did not know this guy was an undercover cop. I turned and a uniformed cop waded through the crowd to grab me. Huey starts hollering, leave him alone, he's done nothing. Leave him alone, he's done nothing. And the whole crowd starts chanting, leave him alone, he's done nothing. In those days, you could start a protest movement right quick. So the people across the street stopped and start hollering, leave him alone. And meanwhile, I'm being tackled by 3 more undercovers, and I'm getting my ass beat on the ground. I can't get any wind. Huey gets into the fight with the uniform cop. My brother John Seale, another Asian guy, 2 young white hippie guys, and another black guy kicked off these 3 undercovers on me. I got my little knife out. It's really a scout knife, but some people have wrote in history that Bobby Seale had a stiletto switchblade. It's a scout knife. If you know anything about Bobby Seale's history, you'll know I'm a carpenter and a builder. You know I'm an architect. You know I'm a structural repairman on high-performance aircraft, non-destructive testing for machine material. And in my toolboxes, I have these little scout knives. You know, the blade and the corkscrew and ice pick, that kind of knife. So when I got loose, these guys was kicking my ass on the ground. I got up and pulled this knife out and started swinging. And yellow t-shirt, the one who approached me first, I wound up cutting him in the hand. Long story short, we all got arrested. We go to jail. But I'm saying this is a free speech argument. I mean, I was reciting a damn poem. You know what I mean? And the dude that never showed a badge to me, and I told him, right to free speech, fuck you. My point is, we wound up in court. And finally the judge gave us only probation. I thought we was going to go to jail 1 to 10 years and we wouldn't be able to organize anything. That night, I said, Huey, meet me at the War on Poverty office. By this time, I'm not working at the place. I'm working for the city government of Oakland, California. Department of Human Resources War on Poverty program. I said, Huey, meet me at the War on Poverty office tonight. I'm going to unlock it and you can get in. We're going to finish writing this 10-point program. And we wrote our rough draft. Number 1, we wanted poverty to determine our own destiny, our own black community. Number 2, we wanted full employment for our people. Number 3, we wanted decent education to tell us about our true selves. Number 4, we wanted an end to the robbery and exploitation of our black people and our black community. At that time, in those days, we wanted all black. Number 6 said we wanted all black men and women to be exempt from any military service. Later on, number 6 was changed and we wanted free preventative medical health care clinic for our people. Number 7, we said we want immediate end to police brutality and murder of black people in our black communities. Number 8 says that we want all black men and women and any other people of color who've been tried by all white juries to have a right to another trial so they can put some people in their community who represent the average reasonable person out of their community as jurors of their peers. Number 10, we wanted land, bread, housing, education, clothing, justice, and peace. And I never will forgive old Governor Ronald Reagan, J. Edgar Hoover, all the bastards that called me a hooligan. At the end of that 10-point platform and program, we paraphrased the first 2 paragraphs of a very important document, the founding documentation. It's like poetry to me, though. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for any one people to dissolve the political bondage which have connected them with another and to assume them the powers of the earth to separate and equal stations to which the laws of nature, nature's God entitle them, addition respect to the opinions of humankind, dictate that they should declare the causes which impel them to dissolve that damn political bondage. When a long train of abuses and usurpations pursues and invariably evinces a design to reduce a people under absolute despotism, then it is the right of the people to alter, change that government and provide new guards for their future security and happiness. That was the foundation of our 10-point platform and program of the Black Panther Party. We went to the streets, got organized, the first 14 members, one little sister in there. We said we're going to work on point number 7, and that would be the one we're going to try to capture the imagination of the people. Huey was in law school for 2 years, so we researched all the laws on guns. As long as the gun was not concealed, it was not illegal. You couldn't ride in the car with a live round in the chamber of a rifle or shotgun. Did not apply to a handgun. You could only put it in the chamber when you got out of the car, and so on. Trained everybody about the 10-point program. Book discussions on Malcolm X's autobiography, book discussions on The Wretched of the Earth by Frantz Fanon, book discussions on W.E.B. Du Bois' Black Reconstruction, book discussions on Dr. Herbert Aptheker's documentation of all the wars we fought in, book discussions on Herbert Aptheker's other documentation, documenting 250 slave revolts from the year of 1800 to 1857. This is where we were coming from as a young group, small ragtag group. I put an office up, painted a sign that said the Black Panther Party for self-defense. We got us some leather jackets and some white shirts, some black berets. Actually, we got the black beret from the French underground in an old movie who were fighting the Nazis. That's where we got the beret from, really. But my point is, we put that together, train everybody with the weapons, train Huey with the weapons. I'm ex-military, so me, Richard Aoki, and Big Man Abel Howard taught all these other people about the weapons, how to break down the weapons, etc., how to be safe with the weapons. You couldn't run out in the streets. What I'm telling you today, you cannot do now because the laws have changed. But this is what we did. The laws were on our side at that time. And we got out there, and I'll never forget that night. After October 22nd, 1966, the second week of January 1967, we're in West Oakland, the nightlife area. We see a policeman that stops somebody. We park our cars, walk down the street. 50 or 60 people standing on the sidewalk. The police didn't even see us when we drove up because he's sitting in his passenger seat with the door open. His arrestee, I guess, for a ticket, had his hands on the back of the trunk. And as we walked up, we all got guns. Around little Bobby Hutton's hit the neck, I hung a tape recorder and I punched the record because we're going to record the hell of the thing. Our thing was that one person talked, so Huey would be the only one that talked because he knew the law. And finally, as we walked up, the old man came out of the store, 50, 60 people standing around. And it's nighttime, he says, what they got in their hands, sticks or something? I said, man, them ain't no damn sticks, some goddamn guns they got in their hands. And when he said that, the old man said, guns, which made the policeman look up. And the old man said, I'm getting the hell out of here. He would turn around and says, no one leave. We know the law. You have a right to stand and observe police officer carrying out their duty. And as he was standing around, the cop was standing, you have no right to observe me. And Huey says, no, such a California State Supreme Court ruling states that every citizen has the right to stand and observe a police officer carrying out their duty as long as they stand a reasonable distance away. A reasonable distance in that particular room is constitutes 8 to 10 feet. I'm standing approximately 20 feet from you. We'll observe you whether you like it or not. Some sister on the sidewalk, she said, well, go ahead on and tell it, brother. The cop says, that gun loaded. He would say, if I know it's loaded, it's good enough. Well, I have it around. He would say, step back. You have no right whatsoever. He would cited something. United States Supreme Court versus so-and-so. Therefore, this is my private property. You cannot remove my private property from me without due process of law. Step back. You cannot touch my weapon. Tall black brother standing over there. He said, man, what kind of Negroes is these? It was the most disciplined, youthful, and we knew our business, we knew our law, we knew our rights. And the reason we went out there with guns because the group that tried to observe the police a year earlier in Los Angeles, California, after a month of walking around with walkie-talkies and no guns, the police took their walkie-talkies and smashed them up, their law books, and tore them up, took them downtown and locked them up, which is what caused Huey a year before that to start researching when he was in law school. So the first act we pulled was to observe police. And we did it legally for 6 months with our guns, etc. Why? Just because we lack guns? No. It was not only the police brutality in the black community, it was everywhere, the Chicano community, etc. But more than that, the peaceful protesters. Peaceful protesters in this country was being shot, killed, brutalized, murdered, etc. And it happened right near my house in North Oakland, California, when a big march led from here, 10,000 strong, down Adeline Street, and they stopped them at the corner there, 200 policemen, and then they opened ranks and let the Hell's Angels with 50 motorcycles plow their motorcycles into these peaceful protesters. Then the police waded in and viciously beat them. 4 blocks from my house. That is the reason we chose the guns. We says we have a right to the First Amendment of the Constitution of the United States of America. First Amendment of the Constitution of the United States of America states that all citizens have a right to peacefully assemble and to peacefully redress their grievances. It says that. It is the law of the land. It's not just a statement. It's also the law of the land, brothers and sisters. You have to understand that. So that was the reason we decided to do that. More importantly, the reason we decided to do it was wanted to capture the imagination of the people. So that ultimately, in my vision, we would have political, electoral, community organizing. I wound up organizing. While my friend Huey sit in jail, I, with a lot of brothers and sisters who work with me, we organized 5,000 Black Panther Party members in 49 cities around the United States of America. Every one of them had a free health clinic. Every one of them had free breakfast programs. Every one of them had sickle cell anemia testing programs, because these programs are tangible and it helped unify the people. See, real revolutions is not about a shootout. Real revolutions is about the people banding together and evolving political, electoral, community unity. And with that community unity, they in turn set some new policies, set some new laws, and set some new rules that make human sense. That's what that's about. Our slogan was all power to the people. We didn't care whether it was black, white, blue, red, green, yellow, or polka dot. Coalition politics was the name of the game. We was concerned with where your heart, mind, and soul is at. Or you're going to hit your heart, mind, and soul to the avaricious, corporate money, rich Wall Street, or you're going to hit your wagon to the human liberation struggle abound. I am saying that's what the Black Panther Party was about. That's what I made it about. A lot of my party members died. 28 of them were dead by the end of 1969. Then the last shootout battle happened in Los Angeles, California, 2 days after Fred Hampton and Mark Clark were killed in Chicago. In the early days, we had a rule: we'd take the arrest. If the police said you're under arrest, we take the arrest, because we never were scared of the courtroom. And as you know, if you know my history, you know I was never scared of the courtroom, because I cussed the judge out for violating my Sixth Amendment rights. He violated the Sixth Amendment of the Constitution of the United States of America. To me, you are violating my right. So every time they would mention my name, I say, I object. Sit down, Mr. Seale. I say, I object, because my lawyer is in a surgical operation in San Francisco. We sitting here in Chicago, and my lawyer's not here, and I put a motion in to defend myself, and you denied me my motion. So I want that for the court record. I did that for 7 weeks in that courtroom. 7 weeks. And finally, the damn judge chained, shackled, and gagged me for 3 days in the courtroom. 3 days. Standing up for Constitution, democratic, civil, human rights. Standing up for human liberation. Standing up for the people's rights. This is what I was doing. You know, so I'm here, glad to be here, glad to see this group of humanity, you guys here, you poets, artists, etc. I work with Eastside Arts Alliance. We do some of the same stuff right here in Oakland, California with Eastside Arts Alliance. I mean, I'm an advisory board member to this program here in the community. But you guys represent that. I mean, you're from all over the world. There's got to come a time when you and 50 million more. I've heard of the 1 million man march, and I heard of the 1 million this, that, and I'm not. We need to get down to the nitty-gritty, similar to the way the young, youthful brothers and sisters and the students did in Egypt when they came out 10 million strong. They came out 10 million strong to get rid of a dictator. A dictator that took billions of dollars, and you could get his business partner. They were probably in control of $200 or $300 billion for their personal self-entities. $200 billion for 100 million people in the country of Egypt. You realize what that could do for the people if you had greater community control, constitutional democratic community control of economic frameworks to retail and produce services and goods, constitutional democratic community control and input into the political institutions that affect our lives. So it's got to be. I'm looking for you, whether it's here, around the world, etc. But it would be really fantastic. In the next 1 or 2 or 3, 4 years, you could organize and put together, using our technology. You know, we got enough technology, we can communicate our asses off nowadays, right? Put together a 50 million protest movement against the avaricious corporate money rich, the Koch brothers and others who put together Tea Party people who have no economic program for people. The Tea Party people are new fascists. These are new fascist people. I'll tell you, they believe in McCarthy and all that kind of crap. They believe what everything the FBI did to us. The last shootout after it happened, they had planned to attack the Berkeley office. They had planned to attack the Seale office. They had attacked 2 offices. December the 4th, 1969, they attacked and killed Fred Hampton and Mark Clark and wounded several other brothers and sisters that night in a house, a home where party members slept, and murdered him. 2 days later, they attacked the Los Angeles office, but the brothers had followed my architectural sketches that I sent from jail, because I was in jail. They had me in jail by this time. And through the lawyers, I sent sketches of how to fortify, how to build sandbox boxes around the windows and up to the window sills, how to bolt steel to plywood and get the heavy-duty hinges and get the joists in the ceiling, being an architect. I just architected that and sent out a directive from jail that I want every Black Panther Party office fortified. We don't have firepower for these people, but at least we can try to save ourselves. And we had a network of people who then, by then, were really subordinate. And finally, they attacked that Los Angeles office, 7 a.m. in the morning. It was not until 12 noon that a newspaper reporter had a zoom lens camera 4 blocks away on a roof. The party members remembered that they have to take their rest if they can, had put a surrender flag out. And on television, national television, it popped up. The news commentator says the Black Panthers have been trying to surrender since 7 a.m. this morning, and the police here are ignoring the surrender flag. That caused everybody who supported us. Sammy Davis Jr., R.C. Davis, Jane Fonda, Marlon Brando, who are all these actors and other people who supported us. Hundreds of people all on television having news conferences, let the Panthers surrender, let the Panthers surrender. Calling Governor Ronald Reagan a fascist idiot, etc., and so on, because he and J. Edgar Hoover had talked on the phone and was in the newspaper. They had talked on the phone about the upcoming attack on the Los Angeles office. Then, a few weeks later, a young white policeman did not like what he had been overhearing for over a month inside the police department. The FBI and other police officers in the Berkeley Police Department were planning an attack on the Berkeley National Headquarters office. That's the National Headquarters office where I worked out of, although I was in jail. He stole the goddamn plans they had to attack our office, gave them to our lawyer, and our lawyer gave them to the press. Then they had plans to attack the Seale office. The young white mayor with his, bless his progressive soul, bless his progressive soul, he got on television in Seattle. He says the FBI and the police will not be attacking the Black Panther Party office here in Seattle, Washington. All that shit went all the way up to where? Went all the way up to the Senate investigation hearing. A Senate investigation hearing. Senator Ted Kennedy and Senator Church. They put the FBI and other police on the spot. Why are you running around here attacking Black Panther Party offices? We run for political office with our names on the ballot. We have free speech. We have rallies, 5, 6, and 8,000 people. We give away 10,000 full bags of groceries and the fat, healthy 3-4 pound chicken in every bag, and register thousands of people to vote. Because all we was registering, we was gearing up for that massive, massive amount of people that was necessary to be unified. So the grassroots people had to be unified around those grassroots programs that we had going on in the community. And that's what that was about. It was about trying to evolve some community electoral power so that we can change the laws and get new laws, get new legislation and new policies that empowered the people, on many levels, on the many community levels. That's what it was all about. So as I talk and as I speak and as I try to inspire you, I know you're going to come up with some rap, some poetry, some acts, etc. You know what I mean? I try to work with various groups to get them. There's a new group that just came out here from New York here to interview me because they're doing a play on both the Black Panther Party and the Young Lords Party. Young Puerto Rican brothers and sisters, we were all coalesced back in those days. And there's AIM, American Indian Movement, and many others. Evo Kuhn, the Red Guard with the Asian brothers and sisters here. I'm telling you, that's what this is about. What else can I say? I thank you. Power to the people. Power to the people.